Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another video. My name is BN, and today we're going to be talking about something very fascinating in the whole cryptocurrency space. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, but if we're going to embrace this whole cryptocurrency space, if we're going to talk about crypto, Bitcoin, blockchain, we have to be able to speak the truth. Now, one of the issues with the whole cryptocurrency space right now is the whole scamming issues, right? There's been a lot of scammers, and these scammers are having babies every single day, right? There's been scammers, there's scammers' babies become scammers, and that baby becomes scammers and scammers and scammers, and people are losing a lot of money. So we have to be very, very careful, very cognizant. If you're investing your money, you want to make sure that you're putting your money in the right place. You want to make sure that the platform in which you're actually putting your money into is actually a platform you've done your research on. And you want to make sure that you want to know who the people behind the platform, you want to know if they're actually real. You want to know their track records. Very important because you work hard for your money. So you want to make sure that if you're investing your money in a particular cryptocurrency project, you want to make sure it's a real project. And it's really difficult to tell the difference between a real project from a fake project, right? But you have to do your research. You have to basically read a white paper. You have to know what the team is. You got to look them up on LinkedIn. You have to look them up on other platforms to see, hey, these guys, are they real? Where have they worked in the past? In order for you to get a really, really good grasp of, the authenticity of the project you're investing in. And quite recently, I think about a week ago, actually, the SBF verdict actually came out, and he's found guilty for actually mismanaging investors' fund. Very interesting. But before we dive deep into it, I'm going to play a video about that, and we can proceed from there, right?
Breaking news tonight here in Top Story. Sam Bankman-Fried guilty on all 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy. The 31-year-old was accused of mismanaging customer funds stored at his crypto exchange, FTX, to enrich himself and his family. We're talking about potentially $10 billion in losses. Angela Senadell is back with us. She's obviously one of our legal contributors here. You've been following this case for us. Guilty on all 7 counts. You were following the case throughout this. I mean, it was tough for him to put up a defense.
It was really tough, and frankly, I think it was lost the moment the prosecution turned the 3 lieutenants who were closest to him, especially Caroline Ellison, his former CEO. So it all started there, and that's the reason why I think Sam Bankman-Fried even stood up on the defense stand at all. He had no choice. Everyone said it was him who masterminded the entire operation. He gets up on the stand, he says, it wasn't really me, I'm pretending to be a naive person who didn't know what was happening, but all of the evidence proved otherwise.
Yeah, and essentially what he was doing, what he was accused of and now convicted of, is basically mismanaging investors' funds, right? He was sort of taking money from one pot, putting it into the other. He became the face of crypto excess, right, with FTX, and then it all collapsed on him. And on those investors, they lost their money.
Right, it's true. So to some extent, his team tried to argue that they were scapegoated, that they were just being prosecuted because he was trying something new. He was going into a brand new industry, making these huge strides. And then when it implodes, he alleged that the government just prosecuted whoever they thought was responsible while not knowing what was going on. So that's what he was saying, that he was an entrepreneur, an engineer, a visionary.
Right. He was a visionary who actually embezzled investors' money and took advantage of their deposits. So we have to be very, very straightforward here. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried was so interesting and fascinated about what he was doing is he was actually taking investors' money and using that money as a leverage to do like high risk trading on his platform, right? So, and he was definitely making a lot of money out of that too, but it's very, 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 very risky. So most of the money he was making from that transaction and that trading, he was actually giving that money to politicians and giving some of that money to some of those huge organizations and people that could actually maybe support him and back him up uh, when situations like this actually comes up with the legal system he's going through right now. And at some point, actually, he wanted to pay Donald Trump off from actually getting involved in the election. So he wanted to buy him out. He asked him how much he want to literally buy him out of the election. Is that legal? I don't know. But this is crazy. What a SBF is some sort of kid who has no idea what he's doing and trying to figure out his path and do some really good things in the world. I don't know. And that brings up a very important, I think, philosophical question. Is it justifiable to actually steal other people's money in order to donate that money to people that need it? So he was giving money out to organizations and charities. We know that charities need money, right? But is it justifiable to steal everyday people's money and be able to give that money to charity just in the sake of good names and in the sake of actually doing good for the world? It's not justifiable in my sense, right? And what does SBF go to jail for 500 years? I really don't care. Um, is it going to solve the problem? Probably not. I don't think him going to jail is going to do anything, right? And what's interesting, because he was giving so much money out to all these organizations and all these entities and all these politicians, he was actually pampered. People love him. Even during the crash of the exchange, right? And investors lost all their money. The media was actually being so nice to him. It's like, oh, little Sam Bankman-Fried. He didn't know what he was doing. I mean, he was doing the best he can, and things kind of backfire. I mean, where do we go from now? He's a young kid with so much ambition, and that's exactly what they were saying, right? And Elon Musk has something to say about him, and I thought that was very interesting because, hey, you know, we don't pamper people like that. If you messed up, you messed up.
I mean, I don't know who SBF's PR team is, but they're doing an incredible job.
For real?
Well, I mean the dude ripped tons of people off and stole their money, and yet he's getting basically, back rub from the press.
Well, don't you think that's because of the amount of money that he donated?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is.
It might have something to do with that. I'm not that cynical. I generally don't think people are influenced by money.
Well, I don't know what he's doing, but
something's going on.
The number of articles that I've seen where it's like, where it's basically, a misunderstood philanthropist. It's ridiculous.
Well, your bullshit meter went off when he was offering money to buy in with you with Twitter, correct? Yeah. Like a large amount.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people, fell for his bullshit. But I mean, first of all, I hadn't really heard of the guy. I'm like, who is this guy? And what did he do? And he's in the
Right? And he's just, he's just a guy that show up very quickly because you know how crypto is. It's easy for someone to be pretty much broke today, and out of a certain, the market actually changes, and now this person is actually a billionaire, right? So Bankman-Fried's wealth actually just came out very abruptly. He became very, 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 very wealthy, and a lot of people who are actually very rich entrepreneurs and people like Elon Musk and other folks, they know how difficult it is to actually navigate through the process of actually generating that amount of wealth. It is a very, very tough process. And to see someone who, in a very few years is able to do that at 31 years old or even less than that, it's pretty interesting. So, but anyways, Elon Musk said he could smell some bullshit, so he knew exactly that something was going on, something was cooking in the back. And Bankman-Fried wanted to actually collaborate with him to buy Twitter, and he did not accept that. So, smart people always sees the bullshit. So, hey, whatever happens to Sam, it's up to Sam. I don't care, right? I think the government and the politicians, actually, the legal system, I should say, right, should be more consistent with all of the people who are involved. Now, if you got caught with a stolen goods, right, you have to answer some questions to the authorities. And some of the folks that actually receive money from Sam Bankman-Fried, which is technically investors' money, they should be able to answer questions too to the justice system, because that's how it works. We should have some level of consistencies in that process. So, but hey, that's just what happens. I hope these these scammers actually go away in the whole cryptocurrency space. They're actually taking away the legitimacy of cryptocurrency, and they're driving away people who actually would like to invest in this whole space. And they're bringing really, really bad publicity to the space. But they will all be fade away. That's just how it works. And I encourage you to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I want you to also comment in link below. Let me know what you think about this whole scam in cryptocurrency space. What do you think about what this whole space is, where this whole space is going? And let's connect. Hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.